The Tennessee Titans are in the middle of an offseason where there's lots of questions, lots of directions this team can go in. The sky's the limit, but the floor is low. We are going to have a couple topics for you here today on the Titan Bros YouTube channel. What is happening, you bunch of Titans fans? It's been a while since we've been here. Last time we went live was July the 3rd. It is currently August the 3rd. So it is good to be back. We're going to have all kinds of discussions, but before we get any further, we're going to have to welcome in my younger brother, Josiah.
Howdy, folks. How's it going?
Long time no talk
Short
on the
sweet.
old, yeah, I agreed. But long time no talk on the old UB2B.
Yes, so it's been a month exactly. We did not schedule it like that, but here we are.
Yeah, and we were just on vacation for 10 days. So that's kind of why we didn't go live the last couple of weekends, plus no shorts were coming out. But I just felt that we needed to dive into some of the off-season topics here. And the main three ones, now, you know, we chased rabbits and kicked dogs around here. So the three top discussions we're going to have here is the Terry McLaurin being on the trade market, Micah Parsons being on the trade block, I think is what I was trying to say, not market. And then we're going to talk about the Titans being mid on offense. So with that being said, welcome in. We're going to have a fantastic show.
Yes, I agree.
I was going to say, that's when you're supposed to talk. All right. So that being said, let's just go ahead and just dive right into it. So first things first. The Tennessee Titans offense has been described as mid by one Cam Ward. I already know my thoughts because my thoughts are in my head. So I want to hear your thoughts on just the offense as a whole and the struggles that have been there throughout training camp.
Well, it's obviously not a good thing. It's to be expected if you really think about it, though, because I don't think we have a very good receiving room. The receivers we do have that, we hope can turn out good is still rookies, so they're going to have off days. Our O-line is still figuring stuff out. Cushionberry's not playing because he's rehabbing. And then Cam Ward, I hope he's good. I definitely think he can be good. But, I've heard bad things, batted balls, picks, just missing. So he's having a tough camp. And so I'm just like, it's disappointing because I think our defense won't be very good this year. So if we have any chance to win, we need this offense to perform. And, it's not good, especially when you have a head coach that's on the offensive side of the ball. And so if he can't figure this out, that's not good for him. It's still early, but I will say what I don't like is since he said the mid offense is mid thing, we've had a practice just today. They said was far worse than that practice. So it's not getting any better. So there is some red flags here. And I am curious to see what we're going to look like in joint practices and in preseason. But we better figure this out because if our offense doesn't look so good, then I think we're going to, the season's going to get ugly fast, in my opinion.
It could. And if you want to be honest with you, I actually, don't hate me, about an hour ago I went live to talk about everything we're talking about right now because I was bored, didn't have anything to do, and I figured you were probably busy with the kids. So I was like, I'll just go live and just get some thoughts out. Instead of making like 7 shorts, I'll just do one quick little 15-minute live by myself. And then after you said you wanted to do a video, like 20 minutes after I finished, you said you wanted to do a video. I was like, well, so I just deleted the live stream and then we're just doing it again. So I'm kind of repeating myself. So I'm hoping I don't accidentally leave out some details here. But here's what I said. For whatever reason, doesn't matter what team it is, what quarterback it is, anything, the defense always has the upper hand in training camp. Always. Will Levis struggled mightily. Cam Ward's been struggling. honestly, I can even remember Tannehill not looking great, and I feel like after every training camp, the defense is miles ahead of the offense, and that was just what was always said. So I want to not be worried about it one little bit, but with this last practice being its worst, I'll be honest with you, I'm starting to let a little fear and a little doubt creep in. Should I? No, probably not. Because again, it doesn't matter who it is. It's every year they say this. But you don't like to see it, especially with our cornerback one not even playing. This is Jarvis Brownlee Jr., Darrell Baker, and whoever else. I mean, Roger McCreary's in the slot, but it's kind of a different position almost. So I'll be honest, I'm getting a little worried. Like if you would have asked me this literally before the practice today, I'd still say no, I'm not worried. But with us having not just another bad practice for the offense, but the worst one yet, with late throws, interceptions, dropped passes, apparently lots of penalties on the offensive line. I'll be honest,
I've heard that. Yeah.
I'm starting to get a little worried.
Yeah, I think penalties is scaring me a little bit because we had so many of those last year, so that's an issue. And something that worries me a little bit is that we have a terrible pass rush. So if we can't give Cam time to make some good reads and throws and training camp against this bad pass rush, what are we going to do in the regular season? So that's something to scare me because I know we have a bad receiving room. I know Cam doesn't have much to work with that, but I thought we fixed this O-line enough that I thought for sure that, this offense is going to give Cam at least time and we won't be running around with people trying to take his head off. But so far, it's early, but so far it does not look good. And again, we don't have Cushionberry, but that's still just one guy. Like I would like to see us look a little bit better than this.
Yeah, I agree. And it goes back to where I always say that, like I said earlier, the defense always wins in the training camp. But I can remember back in the year of 2023, if you're old enough to remember that, Ryan Tannehill was throwing so many picks in training camp. And people were like, should we be worried about this? And then week one against the Saints, he threw it was either 3 or 4 interceptions week one. And he ended up getting benched. Honestly, for the first time in his career, he ends up getting benched that season because he's just, mid. And then last year, the whole thing was, doesn't really look like Will Levis and Calvin Ridley are on the same page.
I do. Yeah.
And guess what? Season blows around. I still don't look like they're on the same page. Basically, the whole season.
They never got on the same page.
I don't think they did either. So I'll be honest, we got some fear, some doubt, and some worry creeping into my soul.
I think one thing is there is a lot of newness. There's a lot of people new to the receivers. The offensive line has some new people they got along to jail. Cam Ward is obviously new. So I'm trying to be patient here. But the problem is it's almost like we're going backwards. It's like at first I'm like, no worries. But I was waiting for us to start getting better and we're going backwards instead. And I think Callahan, I saw that they said after today's practice, he basically, cussed out the offense and he was not happy. So we could say, well, it's no big deal. But I think to Callahan it's a big deal. And I think that should make it a big deal to us. I think, from several people I follow that follows the Titans, that they were saying that this practice is one of the most offensive performances they've seen in a long time. So season's just right around the corner. The season's about a month away. And so we got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I'll say, and as the kids say, you hate to see it.
I'll say this real quick. And I don't know if you agree with me, but it's just an opinion I have, and I think it's going to prove to be right. But I actually don't like our defense. Like, I think our defense is going to be bad. Like, top 10 or bottom 10, I guess. Bad. Like, I just do not think our defense is going to be good. So I was really hoping Callahan and Cam work up some magic here and our offense at least decent to give ourselves any kind of shot. So if our offense is struggling, though, I really don't think this season is going to go very well at all.
I think is what we really need to worry about is 2 things on defense, which is another video, but cornerback depth and pass rush. Because now my bold take of the offseason, My bold take of the offseason has been I think L'Jarius Sneed's going to come back. He's going to play and he's going to be fine. Maybe not a top 5 corner, but a top 15 corner. I think that's my bold take. So if he comes in and does that, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. takes the next step, which he is having a good camp, they say. And those are our outside corners. And then Roger McCreary just continues being Roger McCreary. I think our corners are fine. I really like our safeties. Cody Barton's been killing it. And James Williams looks like he's making enough plays that I'm fine with our linebackers. So the only thing I'm really worried about on defense is edge. And that's something we'll discuss soon. That said, it's time to switch gears. Terry McLaurin has requested a trade from the Commanders. Now, this is just a small little side tangent here I'm going to go on. This is so dumb to me because for both parties, because they went to the NFC Championship last year. They added a couple nice players like Deebo Samuels, where they should be able to make a nice strong push for the Super Bowl again. Right? Right. So that's great for the Commanders. Why does Terry McLaurin want out of that? Like he might get traded to the Jets and have fun being on a 6-win team. It's like for the first time in your career, Terry McLaurin, you're actually on a good team and now you want out because you want more money. That's dumb to me. I know people say, go get your cash, boy. Go get what you're paid or go get paid what you're worth or whatever they say. But I'm like, this is dumb. This is dumb. And I really like Deebo Samuels for the Commander side of things. I really like Deebo Samuels as a high-end, top-of-the-market number 2 wide receiver. But if Terry McLaurin gets traded and suddenly he's receiver 1 and not a lot behind him, that's bad for the Commanders. So why don't they just work out their differences? That's just dumb in my opinion on the both of them. But anyways, this isn't a Commanders show. This is a Tennessee Titans show. So where the Titans come into play is he is on the market. Now, obviously, people just put out lists. People just be putting out lists. That's just what they do. But Fox NFL put the Titans as the 4th most likely team to trade for Terry McLaurin with betting odds. So that's interesting, right? Right. Mm-hmm. So the question obviously is, should the Titans trade for him? The floor is yours.
It would be flashy. It would be fun. It would be exciting because he's a true number 1 receiver. You know, like he would, to me, be bumped ahead of Calvin Ridley. Like, I think he's better than Calvin Ridley. So he, to me, would be the number 1 receiver on our team, just instantly walking in the door. And so it'd be exciting. It would help Cam Ward a lot. But at the end of the day, it may hurt the Titans long-term because with or without him, I don't think we're a playoff team. And right now, I think you and I both said we kind of want to see what we have in DK. We want to see what we have in Eric Iomano. We want to see what we have in Xavier Restrepo. We're bringing in this 30-year-old is going to just take their reps away. So when I heard that they wasn't happy, I'm like, man, I would love for us to trade for him. But I think that would make it the season maybe a little more enjoyable this year, but it might hurt us long term. Because by the time we come actually ready to win a Super Bowl, I think he'll be like 35. He'll be too old to actually do anything. That's just my opinion. What do you say?
Yeah, so I thought long and hard about it. My biggest issue...
Let me say this real quick. But if I had to really put my money in, he's not getting traded. Commanders are getting a deal done. That's just my opinion. But go ahead.
You might be right. I don't know. We'll see. Because I feel like that is something that's more common than it used to be, where people's like formally request a trade and then they don't actually get traded. Like DK Metcalf requested a trade with the Seahawks. No, he did end up getting traded, but that was like 3 years later. But he requested a trade from the Seahawks, and they're like, yeah, whatever. And then they just extended him. And that was years after that. They got traded to the Steelers, but that's a completely different situation. But actually, I'm pretty sure Deebo Samuels also requested a trade from the 49ers, and they didn't trade him. They just extended him, and then they eventually traded him years later. But again, completely different situation. All right, so that being said, it is very possible he just stays, and this whole conversation is useless. However, that being said, I thought about it, and I don't think his age matches our timeline. If the Titans are going to make a Super Bowl run, Super Bowl team, Super Bowl whatever, this is year 1 of the rebuild. If Cam Ward looks like he's that dude, then Callahan looks like he might be a good enough head coach. Next year's where we need to take a step. We need to go to the playoffs in 2026. And then 2027, we need to push for a Super Bowl. Would you agree or disagree?
That sounds good.
Terry McLaurin is 29 years old. So this is just a year of him just being 29 and no real expectations for the team. Next year, when we're supposed to try to push for playoffs, he's going to be 30. So that means when
Well,
we're trying to...
technically, he turns 30 before this season even starts.
Oh, okay. Well, that's even worse. He's 30 for this useless season, basically. Developmental season, we'll put it that way. And then he's 31 for our pushing for a playoff spot season. And then he'll be 32 when we're actually trying to press for a Super
Yes.
Bowl. And at that point, he would have needed to be probably replaced, or at least a wide receiver 3. So I personally just don't feel like Terry McLaurin fits our timeline.
If he was 26, 27, sure. Because then again, the Commanders would probably be giving him this deal if he was.
Right. Now, the analogy I like to use, last year, I was not necessarily vouching to bring Calvin Ridley in. He was just one of the many free agents, and I was just like thinking about other places because I really wanted Malik Neighbors, so I wasn't like huge in trying to get a wide receiver 1. But after we signed him, I was like, interesting. I've admired him from afar, and now he's ours. That's interesting. That's how I'd feel with Terry McLaurin. Like, if we traded for him, I'd be like, maybe not the move I would have done, but like, you got my attention.
And real quick, let me say this. Also, though, to trade him, we probably would hurt our future in the sense a first-round pick and a second, something like that. I'm like, that's just going to hurt us in our rebuild mode.
Yeah, because the Titans already made it very clear they want a lot of top 100 picks. All right. But if someone put a gun to my head and said, you got to tell me now, you want Terry McLaurin this year or nada, it's going to be a no for me.
Yeah, same here.
Plus, I'm really sold on Alec Manor. I really want to see what this guy can do. I'm sure you saw that one-handed snag he did in practice today.
And just, again, I think obviously you trade for McLaurin, then you just have everyone bump down the depth chart. You know what I mean? So
I'm sorry. I was gonna say because if you do that, it's just gonna be Calvin Ridley, Terry McLaurin on the outside, Tyler Lockett in the slot, and then Chim DK gets little or no playing time. Alec Manor gets little or no playing time. Xavier Strepo doesn't even make the roster then, and it's just like, then why'd you draft them for if they're just gonna not actually do anything?
Yeah, exactly.
So all right, that's conversation number 2, and we got one more little topic for you to in the video. But first, I'd like to thank today's video sponsors. We done. All right, that's all the sponsors we have at this moment in time, but one day we'll have a couple. All right, so the last conversation we're going to talk about today is another veteran player on the trade block. His name would be Micah Parsons. Now, I've jabbered a lot, so I'll once again give you the floor.
I would say we definitely need him. We got no pass rush, and so we would go from no pass rush to, one of the better pass rushers in the league. So that would be exciting. But the thing is, I'm a little intrigued with him just because he's younger, so maybe he could fit our timeline a little bit better. But at the end of the day, though, I still just don't think it fits it. I don't think Titans are a team that needs to make a splash move like that. And another reason, like I just said with McLaurin, we would have to trade away picks, and I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that right now. And here's the thing. Are we going to make the playoffs this year? No. With Micah Parsons, are we going to make the playoffs? I'm going to still say no. So it's just like you'll probably get a lot of picks gone, at least one first round, I would think, to get Micah Parsons, pay him a lot of money, and we would still be a non-playoff team. It's just not worth it to me. I like Micah Parsons, not just as a player, but he seems like a nice guy. I like him. He'd be good for the locker room, I think, but I don't think that's going to happen. I wouldn't want it to happen, and I don't think the Cowboys are going to trade him, but yeah. What say you?
All right, so this one was a lot more layers. This one had a lot more layers to it to me because he's 26.
Yeah, that's why I said he's younger.
So if we were to trade for him and we're good in 2 or 3 years, he's absolutely still under contract. So as far as matching up with our timeline of where we are as a football team, he is just right where he needs to be and right where we need him. So that said, I kind of like the thought of it. Also, maybe I'm forgetting, but if we were to sign Micah Parsons, he would be our best edge rusher we've had since Javon Curse.
I agree with that.
We have not had an elite pass rusher since like 2002. And that's why I'm trying to talk myself out of it. And it's
But
not
what
like
would
I'm
you
making it.
what would you trade to get him?
That's the problem. It would be at least a first round pick.
Yeah.
And that's where I get held up at, because it'd probably be like a first and a fourth next year, and then a second and a fourth the year after that, something like that, and then we'd have to break the bank for him.
Yep. Only because I think we're gonna be bad this year. I don't want to be bad, but if we are bad and we get to pick 5 or 6, I'm like, that would be fun to use that to maybe get Cam Ward, the receiver, something to help Cam Ward, our young quarterback, out. But if we get Micah Parsons, there goes our first round, no matter how bad we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that could be the problem. Is we could sign for Micah Parsons, still only end up winning 5 or 6 games, and then we have the 7th overall pick that's going to somebody else.
Yes,
or to the Cowboys.
That would be painful.
Yeah, it would be. But an elite pass rusher in his prime. We've never had an elite pass rusher in her prime, besides, again, Javon Curse. And even Javon Curse's stay with the Titans is very short.
It's weird. I would be more okay with it if I thought at the end of the year we would be picking 15 or 16.
I agree. Given the 16th overall pick, where you're getting wide receiver 4 or 5 in the draft or something like that, as opposed to pick number 5, where you might be getting Malik Neighbors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I just feel like Cam Ward's going to need another receiver at the end of this year, and maybe just something to help out maybe our offense out, and and I wouldn't want to trade pick 5, 6. I just wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so torn. Every time I start thinking I'm gonna say yes, I want him, then I start thinking of, man, we can't get rid of the picks. Now, do I think we're gonna pursue him? I do not, personally, because Chad Brinker has been very open about the fact that he does not want, or that he does want more top 100 picks, and we would lose probably 4 top 100 picks in the next couple drafts.
I just don't feel like it fits our GM's philosophy right now.
No, it doesn't. Got any? Go ahead.
Our philosophy right now, like you said, I think we're trying to build this team through the draft, get as many top 100 picks we can, and coach them up. I think that's what Brinker wants to do. Not that he won't bring in a free agency once in a while, but Michael Parsons just takes all those top 100 picks away from you for one player. I just don't think that would be completely against the mold that he's doing. You know what I mean? I don't see that happening.
It's the wrong offseason for him to become available, because if Titans are like 7-10 after this year, and Cam Ward looks like he's going to be that guy, and we're just looking for a handful of players to give us from 7-10 to 10-7 to get us in the playoffs, that would be a year that you'd want to trade for a Micah Parsons and solidify that pass rush, especially if Femi Oladeju is the developmental player that he is, and it's his year 2 and 3 that he's making his jump, and that would all make way more sense. But I don't know. More than likely, it's not going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thought's exciting, though.
As soon as both of them said they want to be traded, well, my first thought was like, it's not going to happen. My second thought was like, man, that'd be cool if we could get McClellan or Micah Parsons. But then more I thought about, like, Josiah, I know these are big names. Tennessee Titans never have big names besides Derrick Henry. Like that's, but if you just peel back all the layers, we're just not there as a team. It's just sad to say, but we are so early in a rebuild stage. You know what I mean? Like if we was in a year 2 rebuild, you could maybe bring someone like this in and to boost you up. But we're so early in our rebuild stage that no big name is going to come out there and just help us win.
No.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, sadly. And I don't remember, actually, one of the coaches said it. I don't remember which one it was, but even said Titans don't have much star power. And it's true. It's true. Like if we lived in California and we were just like Rams fans or something, 49ers fans, so we're in the NFC, we're on the other side of the country, would we really know any Titans players besides Snead just because he played for the Chiefs? Maybe Jeffrey Simmons and then Cam Ward. Like we wouldn't know anything about Alec Iomanner. We wouldn't know anything about Peter Skoronski. Like We were
Yeah,
just a
it's
average NFL team. We wouldn't know any of our
it's like
players.
I'm trying to get myself excited for this football season coming up. But at the end of the day, I'm like, this team's actually not that good. It really isn't. We got a couple of young receivers we want to see, and we got Cam Ward, obviously. But other than that, you're just like, this team's not good at all.
Which Cam Ward can make the difference? Because let's be
Yeah,
honest,
hopefully.
Jaden Daniels made the difference. They did not have much talent at all on that team. Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin and
I think they have a little more talent than we do at this point. But
well, here's the thing. Last year, everybody was saying the Commanders were going to win about 5 games. Like everyone's like, "Oh yeah, they're trash. They're going to be horrible this year."
well,
And then
I think they still had enough talent for Jaden Daniels to do what he did. Like Titans, I don't think we have enough talent for that. Like Jaden Daniels could go to Tennessee, and I don't think he would not have the season that he did last year. They had some decent receivers with McGowan. They had good receivers. They had a couple good O linemen, which then they made even better this year. The running backs is not terrible. Now they had Bobby Wagner on defense. You know the defense wasn't great last year, but they had some pieces. Like they had some pieces that Jaden Daniels was able to do what he did with it. Tennessee, if he goes to Tennessee right now, he would do diddly squat with us.
but that's what everybody said last year. He only had one good receiver last year. They had like Damani Brown, I think, and some just no name receivers who averaged like 200 to 300 yards a season. So his receiving core is garbage minus Terry McLaurin. He had Titans. He had Zach Ertz, who was 33 years old, who had a solid season, but just a 33-year-old Zach Ertz, a
I also
mid
think
offensive
Dan Quinn's
line.
a decent head coach. That also
He is,
helps.
but he's a defensive guy, so he didn't help the offense any.
Sometimes I think though defensive guys, there's a ceiling to them, but they can make people like Vrabel just play tougher than the talent says.
Which that could be a thing for defense more than anything.
And I think that helped the Commandos. But Callahan, so far in his young coaching thing, he has not been able to take talent and make something out of lack thereof, I guess. A team that has no talent and make something out of it. Like Vrabel was good at it. I don't think Callahan is so far.
Actually, to put back what I was saying though, the Titans on almost all betting apps and sites have the Titans win total at 6.5.
See, I think that's a little much.
Everybody had the Commanders last year, I think, at 5.5. So it means people are saying the Titans have a better team this year than the Commanders supposedly had last year. So that's why I'm saying we're probably going to be bad this year. But if Cam Ward hits, that could just change a whole lot of stuff. That's all I was saying. In the end, we're gonna do a score.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say we're gonna do a video. We keep doing this over and over. There's a big delay, I think is what it is on our videos or on our streams here. That's what I was gonna say is we're gonna do a video eventually here in a couple weeks after preseason and do a final record prediction and season prediction. So you'll hear our final say on it, but I don't think we're doing anything this year.
I agree. And to be honest, sadly, I didn't think he was going to be very good. But my opinion is even more that so far into training camp, they haven't won me over whatsoever. I was just hoping Cam Ward, he's the number 1 overall pick, that he would be able to have some magic to him. But he looks more like a first-round pick that's not going to have magic. You got to work with him, and you try to build him up with the team instead of just making him just boom, and he's starting to, and he just takes your team right out of the gutters. I don't think that's him.
Maybe. We'll see. Hard to say. I've also heard several of his best passes he's thrown in training camp were dropped. So that's always fantastic. But in less than
we have a bad case of drops right now.
Yeah. That said, next time you hear from us, we'll probably do one here in less than a week, maybe, and do a preview of the first preseason game. So we'll be all kinds of excited because my guess is if we do that, it's going to be like a late Friday night or something, maybe early Saturday morning. But we'll be excited. We'll be pumped and give us all types of content. So it'll be exciting. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's exciting. Our next video is going to be a preview. We're going to be talking about an actual game. Yes, it's just preseason. Some people hate that, but it's just, especially for us who doesn't have any hopes during the regular season, it gives us something we can talk about a game and be excited for, that we're not going to end it with being really angry. And we maybe get our first look at Cam Ward. So there's some stuff to be excited about.
Yeah, not just that, but it gives easy content for the next 6 months or so of content. We got to scrape the bottom of the barrel to come up with crap to talk about. So
we're officially out of that stage.
Yeah, we're officially out of it. We're done. So you got anything else you want to say before we get on out of here, bub?
No, so I've said enough.
I agree. We all agree. All right. So that being said, peace out, tighten up, and we will see you all